Welcome to the third episode of our Norwegian Fjords cruise on Sky Princess. In the previous episode, we cruised through the largest fjord in Norway, visited Skolden and took an excursion to see a glacier in Olden. As we sailed into our last port of Stavanger, the weather was looking a bit overcast, but once we arrived, the sun came out. Our ship docked in Stavanger harbour, so we could literally walk off the ship into the centre. Despite it being a city, it has a small town feel, so we decided to go and explore. We weren't interested in visiting the Canning Museum or the Petroleum Museum, so instead we headed to Øvreholmgata, possibly the most colourful street in Norway. Its cafes, bars and shops are all painted in bright colours, and we stopped in one of the cafes for a hot chocolate. Apparently, a local hairdresser had the idea to liven up the street. Another interesting feature of Stavanger is the street art that can be spotted throughout the city, so I'd recommend keeping your eye out for it as you look around. Right next to the harbour is the old town with white wooden houses and cobbled streets that you can stroll around. But as the weather got a bit chilly, we decided to go back to the ship for an early lunch in the buffet. During the afternoon, the ship was fairly quiet, so I took the opportunity to look around the open decks. Sky Princess has the Sea Walk, a glass walkway cantilevered 128 feet over the water. It extends 28 feet beyond the edge of the ship and offers a unique perspective. The retreat pool is an adult-only area on the ship and offers some nice spaces to relax. There's no additional charge to access this area, but I'd imagine that on warm cruises it will get quite popular. As we travelled through the North Sea, we passed hundreds of wind turbines, and although they look small in the distance, each stand at 850 feet tall. Down in the piazza, there was dancing, which was fun to watch. Before we went to Alfredo's for lunch. I definitely advised to go early to avoid the inevitably long queue. After our lunch in Alfredo's, we mooched around the onboard shops, which was surprisingly quiet. Our final sea day was our last chance to relax before arriving in Southampton. But what did we really think about this cruise? Continue watching to hear our thoughts. Hello, it's Laura and Craig from Cruise Lifestyle, and we're going to be going through some of the key aspects of the cruise, such as dining, entertainment, and our onboard experience. So it was a 7-night cruise on Sky Princess. It was from Southampton, and well, I'll see if I ask Craig if he knows where we went. Can you remember the ports?
Well, we went to Walden, and I just forget because I'm just one of them who gets up in the morning and waits for you to tell me where we're going.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. So we had a couple of sea days. We had a sea day on the way, and we stopped at Bergen. Then we went to Skolden, which was at the end of a really long fjord. And
the nicest one, that one was.
Yeah, the fjord was, wasn't it?
Yeah, the fjord was.
And then we went to Olden.
Yeah.
And then finished off in Stavanger before we had another sea day, and we're back in Southampton. Let's start with our onboard experience. So first of all, what was the experience like in embarkation?
Embarkation were a little bit slow because the Sky Bridge wasn't working. They'd got problems with that. So we were really backed up. We just had to wait in the car park.
Yeah, so we had the first boarding time, didn't we? So
yeah,
our boarding
12 o'clock.
time was
no, 11.
11 yeah.
O'clock.
So we got there even earlier thinking, well, we can then at least be at the front of the queue. They couldn't get the passengers from the last cruise off, so then there was the delay. But once we got into the actual like check-in area,
that was quick.
Yeah, it was.
Quick. Once we got out of the vehicle, we got our cases and we dropped them off quite easily.
Yeah.
No problems at all.
Yeah, they were ready there to take the luggage.
Yeah.
And then we were directed through to where we checked in. And then some people who hadn't done the testing were then filtered off into another area, and they did the COVID testing there, didn't they? But it was a lot smaller. We'd been on Sky Princess last year in end of August, beginning of September, on the first cruise out on Sky Princess. And the area that they used for COVID testing then was huge, wasn't it?
Oh, it was massive.
Because
it was only small this
was
time.
offered the free COVID testing, whereas now you have to pay for it. So a lot of people decided to do the, like we did, we decided to do home testing 2-3 days before, and obviously no wait then. As soon as you checked in, you can go. You didn't have to wait for your test result.
I think basically from getting out of our vehicle to getting our medallions was... It was no more than half an hour, and it probably would have been a little bit quicker, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that you had problems with your new passport.
Yeah, so when I originally set the app on my phone and set everything up originally last year, you load your passport details on, and then in between times I've had a new passport. So I went onto the app for this cruise and I uploaded the new details of the new passport, and when we got to check in, there was an issue with it, wasn't there? It wasn't like they hadn't talked to each other, like the app hadn't talked to the check-in, so they still had the old passport. But that was quickly resolved, and they were able to just upload new information.
Literally a couple of minutes. Yeah, we were in.
So our cabin.
Yeah, we're on the ship now.
We decided to have a balcony cabin. The reason why we decided that was because obviously we're going to the fjord. We're not really people that will sit out on a balcony for hours.
No.
We'd rather be going around the ship and doing other things. But we did make a decent amount of use of our balcony. In the mornings, we would get up and we'd have a look out, and we'd maybe spend some time looking at the scenery as we came in to port. And also,
it was chilly. It was cold.
It was cold.
It was cold.
It was cold. I'll tell you what you can do is they offer blankets for movies under the stars. So you can borrow a blanket and take it down to
Which you did.
Yeah. And you take it down to your cabin.
Yeah.
And in the late afternoon, evening, when we'd gone back to the cabin maybe and we're getting ready to go out for the evening for dinner, we would have the curtains open and watching the scenery go by, or we might just go out, nip out and have a look at something if there was like a waterfall going by or something. So
yeah, there is lots of waterfalls.
Storage wise, we had a standard balcony, and that was fine for two of us.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it was lovely and clean.
Yes.
There was no faults whatsoever with it.
No issues.
None at all.
I like the design that a lot of princess cabins have with that big open wardrobe space. That always gives you plenty of room, doesn't it? To put all your hanging stuff up for both of us, and also then down at the bottom there's plenty of space for shoes.
And you need that.
I need that.
Although I need that too. Oh, and incidentally, if you don't have enough coat hangers, just request them, because you'll get them no problem. They've got stacks and stacks of them. So we did that right away. And again, he had them in our room within half an hour. And also I needed some shirts ironing when I got there, just 4. And again, it's not an issue to them. Within 24 hours, they were back in your stateroom, hung up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So you
excellent.
had them ready for.
And not expensive. I'd like to have all mine done before I go back home. Actually, it saves you doing it.
Yeah, it would. And then the only other thing really to mention about the cabin was the location. So we were on deck 12.
Aloha.
It was a bit higher, wasn't it? It's
Yes.
not too far. If you need to walk up, you can use the stairs. In all fairness,
and we were pretty midship as well, really.
Yeah, we were just off midship, which was really handy. We were near lifts, not too close to lifts.
Yeah, I think we were about 5 doors down from the lift, which we never heard anything whatsoever. Nothing.
There was no noise.
It was a great location. Yeah. We actually did walk downstairs a good few times. We didn't walk up them. It's too
I
much.
did on my own.
Oh well. Well, you would.
Wouldn't go.
You were just getting your steps in.
Yeah, I was trying to. Let's now talk about the entertainment on board.
There was a little band on down in the atrium on an evening.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were called. They're obviously the resident band with a female singer, and they were very good. And we also had a couple of lady violinists.
Yes.
They were really good.
We saw them around the ship.
Yeah,
in
they went.
places.
Yeah, they were going because they were in take 5 at one point, wasn't they? And
they were in
the atrium,
the Crown Grill.
Crown Grill.
Yeah, so that was quite nice for a bit of background music.
Nice. As regards the theatre, you did a comedian.
Yes,
I did.
I went to see a comedian.
Yeah, what did I say?
I did a comedian. I think he's called Josh Daniels, and on our cruise last year we went to see him, and he was really funny, wasn't he?
Yes.
And then he did a late night show, didn't he? That was
Which
a bit ruder.
More blue.
Yeah, and we missed it last time, so I actually went to watch that.
Yeah, you and Sam went, didn't you?
So I went to watch that one, and it was a bit rude, but it wasn't
not over the top.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like crude or anything, and I thought he was really funny again. So I went to watch that. We did bob our head in one night when there was kind of like a cabaret on. We didn't watch any of the shows because we'd already watched rock opera last time, hadn't we?
Yeah, which is very good.
Yeah,
very good. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, we did, and we liked that one. Actually, I had said at the time that I think it was probably the best show I'd seen on Princess.
On Princess, yeah, on Princess.
Oh,
there was the jazz band in take 5, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was when we stayed out on deck for quite a while and watched the sail out of that long fjord.
Yeah.
And then we went in. Yeah, we went in, but take 5. Interestingly, take 5 is one of the only venues with windows.
Yes.
So that was actually quite nice because we could still see out the window. I don't think Sky Princess is necessarily designed for this type of cruise, to be honest, just because for the fjords you want
internal
lots
viewing
of you want lots
unless
of
you've got a balcony or
things.
you're outside. Yeah.
So that would be the only thing I'd say, is that there's nowhere at the front of the ship unless you pay for the sanctuary.
Yes.
And you wouldn't necessarily want to pay for the sanctuary if it's cold.
No.
So that was the only thing I'd really say on that aspect, is that it's a lovely ship, but it's not necessarily designed for that, a Norwegian Fjords cruise.
And we did have other entertainment.
Oh, did you? What
the casino. I'd like to have a little flutter. I try and limit myself to $20 per night, and that's not every night. First night I did well. I came away with $80.
You did?
I lost it the second night. It went.
All of it? You didn't tell me that.
Well, no, I did. Well, I don't tell you everything, do I? But I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah,
it's a good
that's
bit
your
of fun.
bit of
I'm not. There's big gamblers, but there is big gamblers, but I'm not one of them.
You did also quite like just watching.
Yes, you hated that, didn't you?
It's so boring.
That's when you went to the theatre and watched a comedian.
I was so bored watching roulette. Me and San went off to the piazza for a little while, and then we went down to the Vista Lounge one evening, and there was a band on there because you were in the casino.
Yeah.
Okay, so onboard facilities. It's traditional cruising, which is what we quite like. Yeah. We kind of gravitated to a few places. So we quite liked the piazza, which is the atrium, and we also quite liked the Crown Grill bar.
Yeah, that was nice.
Because although
always busy. Always busy.
We didn't eat in the Crown Grill this time, but we did like spending some time in the bar area outside because the seats were quite comfy.
Yeah.
And there was a nice drinks menu.
I like the atrium because it's people watching.
Yes.
Or any bars around that area.
There's Good Spirits Bar.
Yeah.
That was difficult to find a seat in there.
Yeah,
so
that's
we
true,
sat there when we first got on.
Yes.
And had a drink.
There's not a lot of seats at all there.
There isn't many seats. So
which is a shame because I think people like that bar actually.
There's Vines.
Vines, that's it.
And then there's Bellinis
Vines,
as well down on the ground floor.
We actually sat in the ice cream parlour
We
one
did.
day.
We did, because there was no seat. And then I said on the last day, I'm going to have an ice cream.
And
I just ran out of room because we also had Alfredos.
Oh, we did. Oh my God. Yeah, that was really... I had 2 pizzas that day.
You did have
That's a bit wrong, isn't it, really? No wonder I put £7 on.
So let's go on to the dining on board Sky Princess. So
Alfredos.
let's first of all talk about the dining that's included.
Yeah.
So we ate in the buffet.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, personally, I don't think there's as much choice as there were when we went on Regal a good few years ago.
Yeah, I think, well, at the moment, they were still serving us, weren't they?
Yeah.
They're still serving.
Yeah.
And so I suppose if there's limited staff, they've got to then think about how many areas are open in the buffet as well to be able to serve. We had breakfast, lunch and dinner on different days in the buffet, didn't we?
Yeah.
So breakfast, we had a busy breakfast, and also we experienced quite quiet breakfast
it was
as well.
very, very, very busy.
So
I had fried eggs with some bangers.
what you
The sausages, but they called them bangers. But they weren't, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't. They were sausages and some bread rolls.
You really like the
bread rolls. I do.
And then lunch, we stopped in there after we'd been to Stavanger. We stopped back there, didn't we?
Stavanger, there you go. That's a place we went. I remember now.
We ate there a couple of evenings as well, just because maybe we had been out on deck late and then couldn't be bothered to get get dressed up for dinner or whatever. So we ate in there a couple of nights and the food was nice. The first night, actually, I remember there being, I think it was Malaysian style.
Laura, I'm not being funny, but how do you remember all this? I don't even remember where we've been.
Yeah, there was a Malaysian noodle soup dish that I really liked.
Yes.
And I think on certain nights they had themes of things. So I think they had lots of curries one evening. Moving on from the buffet, main dining room.
Yeah. Good meals.
We ate there for both formal evenings, didn't we? There was 2 on our cruise,
we did. Yeah.
And we ate there for both evenings of the formal nights. I actually also went in for breakfast one morning. We tried to go in for more, but it was very, very busy. In fairness, it was so busy the day that I went, they reopened up another dining room downstairs. Yeah. It was when we were in Skolden, so I got up early to have a look at the sailing through the fjords, and then we had no excursion or anything to go off and do in Skolden, so we had like a leisurely breakfast and got off kind of mid-morning, so that worked out really well. Going back to the formal nights, I think the second formal night, which is I suppose the more special of the 2, was the nicest menu.
Oh yes. Okay, so I had snails escargot, is that right?
Yeah.
And I had a lobster tail.
I had that as well.
Very nice.
And our friends had beef Wellington.
Yes, because she missed out on that a couple of years ago when we went. She was ill, she was a bit seasick, and she really wanted the beef Wellington, couldn't get it. And fortunately, on the second formal night, she got beef Wellington. She was so excited.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can get excited about a beef Wellington. But anyway, yeah, you got it, Sam.
The nice thing is that the people who were having beef Wellington, the waiter asked if they wanted to have like surf and turf. So that they had the beef Wellington and then they had like a side of lobster.
Yes.
And then we said
we have some.
We didn't want the beef Wellington. So we said, can we just have 2 lobster, please?
And sure, other cruise companies are the same, but Princess just don't even bother about little things like that. You know, you could have 6, 7 pieces of lobster, they wouldn't pull the face. They'd let you have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the good thing about Princess.
So that was really nice. That meal was really nice, wasn't it? And I had creme brulee to finish, which is another one of my favourites. One thing I would say is that we didn't book in advance, did we?
No.
We didn't book any times, because you can now. You can go on to Dine My Way on the app and you can reserve your dining for the time that you want. We didn't bother, so we just turned up.
And we didn't wait.
We didn't.
No, we didn't wait long at all.
No, didn't wait for more than 5 minutes, I'd say.
And the staff are lovely as well.
Yes.
I have to say that.
Yeah.
We've always had nice staff on Princess.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, they're always really good. Always
and
really
we've made
friendly.
quite a lot of friends as well,
Yeah.
you know, we keep in touch with with staff.
Included dining would also include Alfredos.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Yes.
and pasta,
Yeah.
which was particularly nice. So Alfredo's is the pizzeria on board. We've been lucky, actually. It's just by pure luck that every ship that we've been on has had an Alfredo's.
Yeah.
In the past, it's always been a place that's been quite quiet.
Once we got in, there was a queue.
Yeah.
A proper long queue, because it's open till late, isn't it?
It's open like 11:30 till 11.
Yeah.
11:30 in the morning till 11 at night. A lot of people choose to have it for lunch, which is what we did. But we decided to go early because we knew that there would be a queue, because we'd seen it and we'd also experienced it on our previous cruise. Everyone's kind of cottoned on to the fact now, I think, that Alfredo's is good and it's complimentary.
Yeah, you must. If you're going on a Princess and you've got one on board, you've got to try it, because they're so fresh. They make everything
right in front of you. Advice I would give is, if you are happy to, I would potentially go to Alfredo's for dinner, because it's quieter.
Yeah.
And we've done that in the past.
Yes,
and
we have.
We've almost had the place to ourselves.
Because I could quite easily have had that twice.
Yeah. Well, you did, because you had
I
two pizzas.
All right, I had 2 pizzas on in one serving.
I mean, I'm saying that I had pasta and pizza, because the pasta was really nice. I had
kettle calling the pot then, isn't it?
veal pasta, like ravioli. So other complimentary dining on board.
Hot dogs.
Yes.
What's that called?
Salty Dog Grill. Salty Dog Grill is up on the Lido deck, and they do hot dogs, loaded fries, they do tacos.
I had 2 hot dogs one day.
You're allowed to, it's
I
complimentary.
know, but it's
2
making
hot
me
dogs,
sound
2
like
pizzas.
it's like I'm a secret eater, isn't it, as well?
It's not that secret.
Well,
anymore.
it is when it. Well, no, it isn't. No, sorry.
Next door as well to the Salty Dog Grill, on the same side of the Lido, but just next door,
Pizza.
is Slice, the pizza place. And
Again,
that was
they're very nice.
And then next door to Slice is the ice cream. And they also serve popcorn from there for the movies Under the Stars. International Cafe.
Yeah.
The International Cafe.
Speciality coffees, very nice.
Yeah. And they've got lots of desserts and sandwiches. Little pots of salad, which I've had in the past, that have been quite nice. The hot chocolate was very nice as well. I had a mint hot chocolate.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was really nice, especially because it was a bit of a cold cruise this time.
Yeah, because you brought me one up when we was doing one of the fjords.
Yes, so when we were sailing around of one of the fjords, I went down to the International Cafe and got some minty hot chocolate.
Yes.
Okay, so on to the specialty dining. On this cruise, we ate at Sabatini's, which is the Italian restaurant on board, and we really enjoyed it the last time, which is why we decided to eat again there. So on the last cruise on Sky Princess, we ate at all 3 specialty dining restaurants. I think it was because it was the first cruise back and we were just treated ourselves last time, didn't we? So that was Crown Grill, Sabatini's and Bistro Solomon, which is the French one. Yeah,
that was very nice last year.
Yeah,
very nice.
But overall, Sabatini's was our favourite, so we decided to eat there again this time, and it didn't disappoint. I think it was actually even nicer this time.
So fresh. The pasta, oh.
There's quite a few courses. It's $25 per head, and you can eat 4 or 5 courses if you want to have all of it. So you start off and you have like a little appetizer, which has got some breads and some meats and things, and then a starter, then a pasta course, then a main course, and then dessert. I had the 4 pots, little mini pots of desserts, which is a nice option, because if you have a look at the dessert menu and there's loads of things that you would quite like to try but haven't got enough room, they give you this
samples,
option.
Are you going to do a blog about the food then?
I have already.
Oh, see.
On the website you can find my menu and review of Sabatini's. If there's something that I've eaten, I've taken a photo to go with the menu. So all the things that I've eaten. And everything that we've eaten, she's taken a picture of that as well. Yeah. So it's all on there, all on the blog. It's the Sabatini's, the new Sabatini's Trattoria menu and review. So we decided before the cruise that we were going to have Princess Plus, and that was, at the time, because it's just changed, it's now gone up. It was £30 per person per day. Yeah. And that included the drinks package, Wi-Fi, and included gratuities, so crew appreciation. Yeah. So that was really, really good deal. We stumbled across a few problems though, didn't we? We did, really. Yeah, we did. Really, after the first day, the medallion was really only used to open our door. and to get on and off the ship.
Yeah.
In terms of like security swiping on and
Yeah.
off. But the waiters and the waitresses didn't use the medallion
not to
when
its
you were
full
ordering your
extent.
drinks.
They didn't. No.
So it was really difficult as well for the crew to find where you were. So the idea of the medallion is that you have your app, or you can use your cabin TV, and you can order food or drink to wherever you are on the ship, most places.
Yeah.
We would try and order something, and either we couldn't even get onto the app to order it, or we would order it and it wouldn't come.
Yeah.
Or we did order it and part of it would come, order coffee to the cabin and they were wrong.
And it failed. It just wasn't working properly for some
didn't
reason.
Work
It's a brilliant idea.
It's a lovely idea. When it works, it's wonderful.
It works.
And we experienced that on our Seacation cruise, didn't we?
Yeah. But again, Laura, there was less passengers on our Seacation.
Yes, we had half the amount of passengers, which made things a lot easier ordering the app. Obviously, less volume of people trying to order on the app. I think it was a combination of a number of things that went wrong for our cruise.
Yeah.
Firstly, we were almost at capacity in terms of passenger numbers. There wasn't, I don't believe, the crew to cope with the passenger numbers.
No.
And so when people couldn't get a drink from a member of bar staff, they would go onto the app and order a drink, and that's what everyone did. So they were bombarded with all these orders, and I don't think they could just keep up with the amount of orders.
I do think they will get over this issue.
Princess have put all their eggs in one basket with this.
Yeah.
So it's got to work because there isn't really any other option if it doesn't work. And we found this out one day, didn't we? When we were in the piazza just before dinner, and we came down to have a drink before dinner, and we were meeting our friends down there. So a waitress came over. And by this point, they weren't even asking for our medallions. They all only asked us for our room, our cabin numbers. So we gave them our cabin number and we said, oh, can we order a couple of drinks for our friends? So we thought we'd be smart and order their drinks as well to their cabin. But we couldn't remember.
We ordered it on the wrong room number, didn't we? But they accepted it.
We couldn't remember what their room number, their cabin number was. And so we gave the lady what we thought was their cabin number, and then we realised that it wasn't. So when the waitress came back, we said, oh, we're really, really sorry. We gave you the wrong cabin number. It's this one. And they were like, oh, it's okay. They've got the drinks package as well.
Yeah.
So there's no kind of backup.
No.
And I'm thinking to myself, actually, if someone was really sneaky, and they knew that this was happening, they could basically drink for free for the whole cruise, because they could just say a different cabin number each time. There's no fail-safe. Hopefully it's going to get sorted.
Yeah, I think it will.
It needs to get sorted.
However, what I will say, and I speak for Laura as well, it won't put us off Princess. It won't, because we've put another future cruise deposit down.
Yes,
so
we have. Which we can use in
anyway.
Up to 2 years time. So so we have got that. We ummed and ahed, and we decided we were going to put it on the last day. We thought, we'll put
it's
the
a
future
no-brainer.
cruise deposit down, because you get some onboard credit as well. So that was the main issue I had with the cruise, really, that we were being asked to rely on a technology that just wasn't working at the time. Yeah. I know that Wi-Fi is always an issue when any cruise ship goes to the Norwegian Fjords.
Yeah, because of where it is.
I get that. I understand that. The one good thing was that in port, I could always get on Wi-Fi on my phone.
On our own phones,
and because we're on 3 mobile, we
Yeah,
have the roaming included, so
yeah.
there was no extra cost for us.
Not a problem.
We just jumped on to the 4G.
Yeah.
We actually had 4G at the Glacier, didn't we, in Oldham?
We did. How does that? You can't even get 4G when you're in your own town or your own city. Drinks. So what's quite big at the minute with it sailing from Southampton, the British are really big on the dirty banana.
Yeah, and you've liked the dirty
banana. I've liked
banana.
the dirty banana for years. Oh, it's beautiful. It's more like a dessert drink, really. It's like if we may say, the milkshake from McDonald's. Can we say that?
Oh no, it's far
nice.
Better than
but it's like it's thick like that, isn't it?
Yes.
But obviously it's got,
it's got like a real banana in it.
It has, it has. So there's that one.
I quite liked the blue Hawaiian, which is like a pina colada, but it had
What colour was that one?
blue curacao in it.
Blue.
I had a Bahama Mama.
That's another one people are liking.
It was really difficult to have so many of those kind of drinks because they were frozen drinks and it was cold.
So true.
But there was one that we discovered in the Crown Grill, and they pretty much did it all over the ship, and that was called the Sicilian Kiss. And you really like that one?
I did, because obviously I like the tiramisu martini.
The tiramisu martini is a specialty cocktail in Sabatini's, but it's made in the closest bar to Sabatini's, which is Vines. So you can actually order a tiramisu martini in the Piazza.
Yeah, Sicilian Kiss you can get anywhere.
Yes.
And that is beautiful.
So that was, can we remember what it was? Bailey's, Kahlua, Amaretto.
Was there vodka in it?
Vodka.
And a little bit of fresh cream.
And a little bit of cream.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Lovely.
Yeah, that was nice.
Lovely jubbly.
So all in all, what do you think about a Norwegian Fjords cruise?
Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. It was different. It was probably something I didn't want to do for another good few years. But I think with the fact that with everything what's been going on and flying to such as like, let's say for instance, Fort Lauderdale to pick a ship up to the Caribbean, I didn't really want to particularly do a long flight at the minute. I think that's going to get better, and I'm sure it is now. So that's why we opted to stay at Southampton and just get a ship from Southampton, which is fantastic. You know, there's no flights. You know, you just can literally travel there that day and get on the ship.
There's no luggage.
No luggage restrictions.
Other than obviously you need to make sure that each item of luggage isn't too heavy for them to get on, but actually the amount of luggage that you can bring, you're not restricted by that. So that's good. And there's no jet lag because you haven't got your time difference.
That's true.
There was just an hour difference in Norway. That was the only time change, wasn't it? So yeah, I quite liked it. I had heard a lot about how nice the scenery was, and everyone who's been on a Norwegian Fjords cruise who I've spoken to has said it's one of their favourite cruises. And I would say I really liked the destinations and the itinerary was really, really good. And I would really like to look at other itineraries for Norway.
Yeah,
because we only managed.
I didn't know there were masses of different ones.
Yeah, so we only visited 4 ports, but you can go all the way up the side of Norway if you wanted, up to the Arctic Circle. I would quite like to have a look at some of the other destinations because it seems like a really nice place.
Well, that'll be just usual. That'll be just normal then, won't it, for you and me? Because you'll just book it. I'll wake up in the morning and say, "Where are we going today, Laura?" It is. That's the fun factor with me because I just have no idea. It is a surprise. It's like Christmas every day. Oh, good morning, love. Where are we going today?
There you go. I'll just organise.
But yes, I mean, I must say the highlight for me was definitely the glacier. I mean, as much as when you look at it, it's not like some you see where they're absolutely huge. But the difference with this one is when you're walking up, there's pointers going up to the glacier, and it tells you what year that the glacier was actually down at that point. And it's so fascinating that hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, that when you're sailing up them fjords, you're actually sailing where there was once a glacier, because that's what it was. That's how the fjords and to be able to have that in your head, it's magical, unbelievable. Yeah, we did an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, that was Briksdal Glacier, and that was from Olden. We took an excursion with Princess to that one, and that was definitely worth doing, wasn't it?
100% worth it.
Yeah. In terms of favourite ports, I would say that Olden or Bergen were probably my 2 favourites.
Bergen's where we went up the funicular.
Yes. Yeah, so we went up the funicular and then we had a look around Briggen and had lunch out in the sun. So we were really lucky with the weather in Bergen. I actually took my coat off. Yeah, so it was nice.
Very
and
nice.
I really liked that place. I'd quite happily go back again to Bergen. Then Skjolden. There wasn't really anything there at Skjolden.
I did well that day because that was the day I was ill.
Yes.
So I didn't go out.
You picked a good day because we walked a long way. We ended up walking to a waterfall. That was a fossum. And then we crossed over the river and walked to the other side in the snow for a little bit. And then we got a little bit sidetracked and ended up at the bottom of a big, steep path. But it led up to this famous philosopher's
Yeah,
cottage.
I must admit that sounded interesting.
And it was really steep at the top because it even had ropes. You had to pull yourself up.
And you see, I would have just liked to have seen that for the fun factor.
Yeah. It's quite nice to go off and not have any kind of agenda and just go, oh, let's go there, or what's over there, and have a look. And so we did a lot of walking, but actually it was quite enjoyable.
Yeah,
day.
I think when we walked up to the glacier, that was 1.8 miles, I think, each way.
Yeah.
I don't think you felt like you was doing it as much as there were a little bit of an incline at one point. You don't, because
at the beginning, and other than that,
the scenery's beautiful, and I think you forget about it really. But yeah, if you're gonna go, that's a well worth trip. Definitely.
Yes, and yeah, I'd recommend going on a Norwegian Fjords cruise. If you are thinking about it, I would say it's definitely worthwhile. The scenery and the destinations being the main two reasons why you would definitely want to go on a Norwegian Fjords cruise. I would also say it's very similar to a river cruise.
I was just going to say that.
Yes.
It is very similar.
Because of that scenic cruising, because you have a look out the window and there's always something to see. If you have been on a Norwegian Fjords cruise, to maybe consider a river cruise, because if you like that element of the Norwegian Fjords cruising, the scenery and having stuff to see along the way, then a river cruise is also a really good. So there you have it. We have given you our honest review of our Sky Princess cruise to the Norwegian Fjords. I hope it's been useful. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments. Thank you for listening.
Don't forget, if you like the videos, please subscribe, click the bell to get notifications.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.